Youth from around the world, sporting friends and colleagues. It is my honor to welcome you all to the opening day of this 5-day educational program as part of the United Through Sports World Virtual Youth Festival. This is the first ever Virtual Youth Festival. It's about inclusion, non-discrimination, equality, and peace promotion. The choices we make today determine our tomorrow. Sport unites. And here we are all equal on the UTS virtual platform. We are not just connected through the virtual platform, but with a united message with our hopes and dreams. From today until the 22nd, we invite you to be part of our workshops and panels, which starts with a scene setter, and we have amazing panelists from all walks of life. We have our friends from the Olympic movement, governments, NGOs, youth organizations, with a united voice to play, and even more proactive part in addressing the important social challenges we have. This program contributes to the goal of the Olympic movement to build a peaceful and better world by educating youth through sports. We must continue to promote the Olympic, the Paralympics, and the special Olympic values towards respect and tolerance, while we always must also face the many local problems. The future of the world must belong to the youth of the world, and this is you, the youth above all, who inspires us every day. Therefore, we want to ensure a bright future for our world, and to do so, we must continue to strengthen and empower our youth. Today, please allow me, and I'm very honored to be here today with such amazing panelists. Allow me to open the first workshop, Becoming a Successful Change Maker Leader in Your Community Through Sport. This is presented by the Yunus Sports Hub and the IOC Youth Leaders. We have from beautiful Korea, Gu-Hyun. From Rwanda, we have Jean-Claude. From Guatemala, we have Renee Rodriquez. And from India, we have Rohit. These are all outstanding persons. And I'm really, really honored to be part of this opening workshop today. And I'm handing it over to the panelists on behalf of United Through Sports, our CEO, Julia Govindan. We would like to thank especially the Professor Yunus organization and the IOC for helping us to put this together. We have over 700 youth with us this morning, over 400 of them here with us on the virtual platform, and over 400 in universities and schools around the world. So good luck to you all, and an honor to be here this morning. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Could someone give me a thumbs up? I'm hoping that I'm being heard. So I will go through it. I will go with it. Wow, what a welcome, such a warm welcome. Thank you, President Stephen Fox, Julia, and the entire team behind this amazing global event. My name is Marisa Schlenker, and I'm working as community manager for Yunus Sports Hub. And I am so privileged to be here with 4 IOC Young Leaders, and they will lead the workshop today. The workshop today is going to be about becoming a successful change leader in your community through sport. And we are all really excited to be here. And without further ado, I will give the floor to Geewon, an IOC young leader from South Korea, to begin our workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for the warm welcome. Mr. Stephen Fox and Marisa from Yunus Sports Hub. I am excited, as well as my peers are, to open this exciting workshop today with everyone joining around the world. I would like to quickly go through what our workshop will consist of. If we could move on to the next slide, please. Yes, this is what today's workshop is going to look like. We will first go through each and every one of us to introduce who we are and share our journey to leadership. And from there on, we will present our individual projects and what we learn from each experiences. And there will be a roundtable discussion, asking each other questions of how we got where we are today and how we got to bring change to our community through sport. And if you could have just a little bit of patience, you can all join us for our question and answer session where you guys can ask questions to us yourselves. And following will be closing. So if you could look to your right on the screen, there's a beautiful picture of us together. And from my knowledge, I know that there are a lot of us that are joining from Thailand and the Philippines, as well as India and South Korea. If we could move to the slide before, just so I could share the picture. Thank you so much. Yes, on the bottom left, there's Pao, and she is a Taekwondo athlete who won the Southeast Asia championships. And there's Gam from Thailand right above her. So here's a nice gathering, a nice representation of what we are and who we're consisted of. So we can all feel some sense of togetherness through our workshop. That would be great. So now I'll give the floor to Jean-Claude so we can move on and introduce who we are one by one. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for, can you hear me now? Okay, so thank you so much. I'm so sorry. So my name is Jean-Claude RUGIGANA from Rwanda. I'm the IOC Young Leader. And basically, I'm the IT and the Communication Officer for the National Olympic Committee, but also I'm the founder of Sport for Change Media. That's me in summary, and I hope we're gonna know each other more ahead. Thank you so much. I give the floor to Maria. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Renee, and I'm the IOC Young Leader from Guatemala. I'm a professional racquetball athlete, was a Pan Games silver medalist last year in Lima, and I'm really excited to be here with you because when I began my sport when I was 13 years old, I never imagined that this path would lead me to become an IOC Young Leader. So I'm really excited to share with you some of these experiences that have taken me to where we are at today. So now I'll give the floor to my friend Rohit.
Thank you, Maria. A very good morning to everybody. So I'm Rohit Maradapa, IOC Young Leader from India, but I'm an Asian Games. I'm many things, like you can see, but more than anything else, I'm an athlete and I'm a sports person, like many of y'all today. And we're all united through sport. And that is why I want to talk to you about my sports journey. I'm a rower from India, from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And as a rower, I've always, from the time I started, at 10, 11 years old, I have always been somebody who's been very small, very tiny, and always been belittled for it, always been told you'll do nothing, you'll never achieve much because, of your size, you'll never do much. But nevertheless, I always persevered. I persevered through it and through it. I was the best from my province, the best from my state, the littlest, beating people who were much, much taller, much, much heavier. And this happened for nearly 10 to 12 years, being the best in the province. But I would go on to go to the national championships for nearly 10 years. Every time place fourth, fifth, just a little bit away from, the medal tally, or a little bit away from the top 2, top 3 positions. But nevertheless, I never stopped rowing. I never stopped competing. And this was only because of the support of my mentors and my coaches from my state rowing association, from the National Federation, and my coaches and mentors were the ones who made me keep pushing. And somehow I never gave up. And before I knew it, with 10 years into the sport, I was focusing on my career, and I started studying and started working. But then after college, this was, and then I got called to the national rowing camp, where I was the only one amongst about 25 army people. I was the only civilian. I was the youngest member of the national camp, and I was training, and I didn't know Hindi. I didn't know the language. Everyone assumes as an Indian, you know Hindi, right? So I was this little kid who was told they'd mean nothing, who'd never, won anything major, but had been pretty good. And somehow, because of the perseverance of my mentors, I was there and I performed. Within 3-4 months. I learned the language, and I was off at the Asian Rowing Championship. We were off in a neck and neck race where we bettered all our previous records to win the silver at the Asian Rowing Championship in Beijing, China. So there I was, this little guy who was told who'd never amount to anything, who'd never be much, right? I was told can't achieve anything. Through the support of people, through the support of mentors, a few people who believe in you, I was able to succeed, and I was able to achieve something in my sport. And why I share with you the story is that I'm a sports person above all else, and I'm a human being above even that. And we're all united because of sport today. And if I wanted to share, if I can do it, if this little guy can do it, all of you can do it too. And this is an address to most of the youngsters out here watching this video. So thank you, and over to my friend G.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Well, we, the IOC Young Leaders, know each other pretty well, but it's every time we hear about each other's story, it's just as inspiring as the first time. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And last but not least is yours truly, Miss Geewon Yu, myself. And compared to my peers who have just presented, I rather have a relatively humble profile, but I'd like to share. But hi, I'm an IOC Young Leader representing South Korea in our community, and I am currently a senior student. I'm wrapping up my studies at Korea University, and I study health policy and management. And for my IOC Young Leaders project, I was a project leader and a founder of the Dream Cup project. And I first got involved with the Olympic movement because I was simply not a professional athlete or a sports student, but because I was simply a professional fan of the Olympics and sport. So I started off my journey as a future international sport event organizer at the Winter Olympics of Pyeongchang 2018. I have been lucky enough to be one of many people organizing the Olympic Games. And yeah, from there on, I moved on further to become part of IOC Young Leaders program and what was formerly called IOC Young Changemakers program. So after the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang 2018, later that year in October, I have had the opportunity to represent Team Korea at Buenos Aires 2018 as an IOC Young Changemaker. And that program was also called the IOC Youth Young Ambassador. So you could think of it as a role model for an entire team. So I've been blessed to be part of that. And I am passionate about inclusion and representation of marginalized population through sport. So I navigated my way through the opportunities possible at the International Olympic Committee, as well as other events in international sports. And here I am today. Thank you for the warm welcome, and let me pass it on to Jean-Claude to move further with our workshop. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hello, everybody. So, so we are the IOC Young Leaders. So we have 4 people from 3 different continents, but I would like to very much add a 5th person. So we have Marisa Schlenker here with us from the Yunus Sports Hub, without whom none of our project, none of our work would really progress. So who are the IOC Young Leaders, you may ask? So the IOC Young Leaders are an eclectic group of people who are all motivated and promoted and got together by sport. So we are a total of 53 people from 40 different countries. So we all met last year at Lausanne for the Youth Summit, where the International Olympic Committee, along with Yunus Sports Hub and Panasonic, got us to experience us young leaders to learn about how we can actually create positive impact. How can we go forward and implement our ideas in the real world, right? We all love sport. We all love to do good, right? And we good people, we want to do good things, but none of this is possible without somebody to support you and say, hey, go ahead, do this. You're capable of it. And the IOC Young Leaders program is something that really propagates this. And it's a place where you feel only great vibes, you feel only good support and everything good about it. Like, they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. And if you see this picture on the screen, you know how happy we are. This wasn't a pose, guys. This was literally what every one of us felt. The IOC Young Leaders at the end of the summit, we took this picture. You can see G there dancing. So this is something about us. And the IOC Young Leaders, before this format, we are in the 3rd avatar, actually. We were first the young ambassadors of the IOC program, where we used to visit the Youth Olympic Games to motivate youth and create positive change in our society. That went on to become the Young Changemaker project, where Maria, Geewon, and myself, we had all gone to Buenos Aires for the Youth Olympic Games, where we accompanied our national contingents and helped them get the best out of the village. So our athletes are the best in what they do, but they're also great at what, the Olympic movement teaches you much more. The Olympic values that we speak, the values of sport, that is something we help our athletes and we ourselves imbibe through this journey. And because of that journey, because we came in through this journey, and Jean-Claude through the IOA, International Olympic Academy, his experience there, we all were invited to apply for the IOC Young Leaders program. And that's how we all applied here. We got mentorship support, we got financial aid and many other things, where we have been able to work with our working groups. So each of us have a focus group which are linked to a sustainable development goal, which many of you know, I'm sure. You must have learned at your colleges, schools, and universities. So we work with our working groups on different sustainable development goals. That is women empowerment and environment, sustainable development. So there are different things that we work on, and education, right? And we deliver our projects. And this has all only been possible because there are people willing to support other people and people who come together because of sport. And this, I think, is something absolutely phenomenal. And now, what is even better about the IOC Young Leaders is, apart from delivering our projects in our communities, before only people from who would apply through their national sports federations. Later, in the IOC Young Leaders, people who are invited to apply from Yunus Sports Hub, from participants from One Young World, and participants from their respective national federations and young change makers. Today, IOC and Yunus Sports Hub have truly democratized things. They've opened up the IOC Young Leader program, the program that empowers youth like ourselves, the program that brings friends like Maria, Geewon, and Jean-Claude together, and myself, the program that brought us all together is now open for everybody. We have over 3,000 people who have applied for our program currently, and it's going to be a 4-year program where Yunus Sports Hub and IOC are going to guide these youth. 25 youth from these 3,000 are going to be selected, and they're going to be able to impact projects and be change agents and change makers in their communities. So this is something I think we are all looking forward to. And I think I'll give it over to Maria, who will explain further.
Thank you, Rohit. And like he was saying, the journeys of us to get to become IOC Young Leaders have been very different. Some of us come from the Young Changemakers program, some others from the IOA. And for me, the journey started as a volunteer. As an athlete in my country, I realized that I had many opportunities that most people in my country don't have. So I wanted to give back to my country, and I started volunteering at the National Olympic Academy. And I was really active in all the projects. Every time they asked me to come talk, I would go. And that's how I got selected to become the young change maker for Guatemala for the Buenos Aires Youth Olympic Games. And then I applied to the project, and that's how I went to the summit in Lausanne. So some people that have supported me to get there are my Olympic Committee, the National Olympic Academy, and of course, Yunus Sports Hub and the IOC, also Panasonic. So now I'll let Geewon tell us about how we stayed connected after the summit.
Thank you so much, Maria and Rohit. I think Rohit gave a great brief introduction of our connect groups already, but let me explain further and elaborate. Oh, but first things first, if you take a look at the picture on your right, you can see me on the same table with Mr. Thomas Ba, president of the IOC, right in the corner on your bottom left. So give that a kind look. And yeah, to continue further about our connect groups, it was actually a brilliant idea to keep us connected even after the summit. So through monthly interactions, through monthly seminars run by Yunus Sports Hub and the IOC, we were able to stay connected and receive the intellectual resources, the expertise from experts all around the world to continue our projects and build further upon it. Myself, I was a part of the inclusion of marginalized population group, and I was able to connect with IOC Young Leaders in other regions working on their project. But since we are working under the same agenda, there's a lot more we can learn from each other in terms of project delivery. And we were given a lot of support from not only from Yunus Sports Hub and the IOC, but also from guest speakers as well. So personally, myself, I could build my project further than what I had planned in the initial phase. So yeah, it's been quite a journey, and I am looking forward to see different projects for the next cycle and how it'll turn out. And now on to Jean-Claude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geewon. So I would like first to excuse because we had to be unmuted by the host, but now it's resolved. So just to remind you, our title or theme is becoming a successful change leader in your community through sport. So we are trying to share with you about our network, the IOC Young Leaders. So I would like to focus on what we do when we go back in our home country. So as you have heard, we came from across all around the globe, and we needed to stay connected and working on our project perfectly. So after staying in your connect group, depending on the target of your project, like me, I'm in the Olympic Values Education Connect group. So we have been supported by, of course, mainly by the International Olympic Committee and the Panasonic, but also we have been backing by the Yunus Sports Hub in terms of leadership, mentorship, so that all along our implementation is going smoothly. So we went back in our local community so that we can contribute through sport to the development of our countries. So we had also our closing ceremony last month. So it was very amazing. And though it was a virtual due to COVID, but we felt like we were in Lausanne at our Lausanne Capital Olympic. So it was very great. So as Rohit said also, I've joined this network when I was in Greece at the International Olympic Academy. So I hope that today maybe some of you guys, as long as you are youth, maybe we see you next year or in the future. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I would like to continue our part, which is very interesting. We're gonna share more about our project deeply. So I will go first. So this is me, right? So my name is Jean-Claude Rohigana, as I said. So this guy in kimono or karateji, his name is Noel Nkuranyabahizi. He's a national karate team coach. So my project is called Best Holders Karate for Children. So I've focused on karate for which reason? Because I'm a karateka, I practice karate, I'm black belt third dan. So I was comfortable to use karate to promote or to do what I'm doing. So my project is contributing to the achievement of the third SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, which is good health and well-being. But also, in addition to that, I'm promoting the Olympic values. So far, I've started this project last year, 2019, and so far the project has impacted over 160 children. So we are having children from 4 to 16 years old, and we are teaching them karate. Can you go please to the next slide? We are teaching them karate, as you can see in the picture, but also we teach them the Olympic values, as well as promoting the third SDG. So we came up with this idea because we have realized that many children, they are wasting their time during school holidays. So instead of staying home, we created this opportunity so that they can learn new things like karate, Olympic values, and also we promote the third SDG in our local community. So I'm working with the Champions Karate Academy, and as my dream, I hope to more extend my project to all areas of my country. So as long as we have many karate academies in my country. So that's a little bit about my project. So if anyone has any question after, he will ask or she will ask. Thank you so much. So I would like to invite Maria to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Claude. My project is called Athlete Leaders, and it was really exciting for me because I was able to do it with my friend Gabi Matus, who's also an IOC Young Leader from Guatemala, and she has a couple more years than me in this program. So it was good to join our forces for this cause. And what we did was workshops, and we had to go online because of the pandemic and the whole situation in the country. But so we wanted to focus on helping young athletes develop leadership skills so that they could become the athletes, the agents of change in their communities and their sports. So we worked very closely with the Guatemalan Olympic Committee, the Guatemalan Sports Confederation, and we delivered the Pan American Business School. And the last day, it was a lot of fun because all our athletes got to play some online games through Zoom. So it was very interactive, and we got to put those leadership skills into practice on that closing day. So it was a very fun project, and we had 50 athletes completed. Now I will leave the floor for Rohit.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Sensei, JC, and Maria, for that wonderful sharing of your stories. I got a lot inspired. So to give you a little background, I am all about people. I love people, don't we all? So, and I'm an obsessively compulsive people pleaser. And I'm somebody who's done, who's like Maria said, we go do a lot of talks, try to motivate people, and bit like this, it's useful, it's nice to speak with people and do all of this, but why not do it in a more structured manner to help people, right? Why not help people in a targeted manner over a longer period of time to really create impact, to really create change? So that's what I was really yearning, I was really wanting to do after doing all these talks. And that's why I founded Just Play India. And it was only through the support of the IOC Young Leaders program, Yunus Sports Hub, that this was started. So the original premise is, in India, India's a great country. It's a beautiful country. Lots of people doing sport, lots of people studying very well. A lot of focus on education, really. But on sports is little less. But there is a sad statistic I want to share. That is, 1 in 4 girl children are out of school by the age of 15 and 16. 1 in 4, right? And there are 60 million youth who are not in school. So this is something that got me thinking, hey, sport is so great. And more than sport, it's the values we learn from sport that really help us learn, right? Like many of you might be playing football or basketball or athletics, and what you learn, the resilience, the lessons that you learn from that, the friendships, this is what that passion and perseverance for excellence, this is what sports gives you. And this is what I wanted to share with many of the underprivileged youth from my community. And so we have projects running in 2 cities, actually, Bombay and Chennai. And we officially wanted to teach frisbee, which is a gender neutral sport. Boys and girls play together. It's a mixed gender sport. And it's governed, no umpires in frisbee, guys, remember that. It's governed by something called the spirit of the game, where you learn to talk and express your own things and agree. If you're wrong, you agree. If you're right, you resolve conflicts well. So that is something I wanted to get into the society. I wanted to bring frisbee. I don't know anything about frisbee, but I'm a rower. Nevertheless, I wanted to bring that along with one-on-one mentorship with young leaders such as, Geewon, Maria, and JC. We wanted to get people like these connected to youngsters in our community with a nice curriculum and teach them. Why we wanted to do this is to, to first of all, inspire respect to people from all genders, to help youth, children, youngsters, teenagers. We wanted them to help set goals. And not just that, but we are in our project, we measure how much they execute their goals, right? That's more important. Not just setting goals. I can do this, but did you do it? That's the question. And then we also want to impart with them life skills to help improve their emotional health, keep them in schools longer, which is the main problem we addressed, and lead much better lives. The problem, can you go to the next slide, please, Marisa? So I wanted to share that our project could not take off because I was in the national camp rowing till last year, till October, November, December. Till January, I was busy with competitions, and then I was waiting for the funding to come in before we could kick off the competition. We were ready to kick off, but before I knew it, before the funding reached, it was lockdown, pandemic. Everyone is hit by that. I hope everyone's doing much better now. You guys are safe and, isolating as much as you can. So that's when, Yunus Sports Hub kicked in. That's when the power of people was really shown. we had our connect groups, we had our gender equality connect group, and there was Marisa from Yunus Sports Hub who's with us on the call. There was Barbara who kept saying, hey, why don't you go to your school? Why don't you go online? Why don't you go online? Why don't you send them quizzes on the phone or something like that? And I never believed it at first. That's because school I was working with didn't have much phone connection, but I did find some partner schools through Barefoot Education, one of our partners, and Teach for India. We got in to a couple of schools, and we're teaching about 120 students. We do weekly mentorship sessions and fitness programs, and our program's going really well. We're about to conclude in a couple of weeks by second week of December. So we're going to have another great session to close that. We hope to see you there and enjoy the impact that our students will have created for themselves. Thank you. And over to Geewon to share her story.
Yes, I am back on. Yeah, so last but not least, again, yours truly is Geewon and her project. So, as an IOC Young Leader of South Korea, I had a project called the Dream Cup Project. And my project was led by student athletes of Korea University, where I am attending. So, what I did to go on with my project for marginalized children of South Korea was form a volunteer group with student athletes so they can volunteer as coaches and organize classes for children that are currently not enrolled in any sport clubs. Therefore, my coaches trained 2 teams tours playing at our annual event, which was a tournament event for children, where we invited multicultural teams from all over South Korea to get together and have a nice, fun sport day. And working towards it was not only weekly football class from RN to the children, but it was also career development opportunity for my student athletes as they could work together with not just themselves, but with regular students like myself. And we would give each other feedbacks on our resumes and cover letters so we can move further on after our graduation and after our project. So from our end, we wanted this project to be a good opportunity to make use of our talents and give back to our society. And to the recipients of our projects, which would be children in South Korea, would be a nice opportunity where they can feel included through sports as they were doing exercises together and had an opportunity for a mentorship with student athletes they can look up to. And that was our focus for last year. And from this year on, we focus more on, since we all know what happened since there was a pandemic which kept us from engaging physically with sports programs, we actually switched it with a stronger focus on Olympic value education and career development seminars where we can all join virtually. So I myself have been engaging a lot on those seminars where I can give presentation to help others and inspire them with my own story and my takeaways from the project. And yeah, for my project, I had 2 areas of focus, which is still under the main goal of inclusion. I wanted my project to contribute in the inclusion of culture and also inclusion of athletes in terms of sports programs. I wanted this project to be athlete centered, where my friends, my student athlete friends, can contribute and feel a sense of self-efficacy, basically. So it's been successful, I'd like to say, and it's a true honor to be sharing my project with all my stellar peers in the IOC Young Leaders program. Thank you so much. On to you.
Thank you so much, Geewon. So for those who came late, I would like to remind you that our workshop is under the theme Becoming a Successful Change Leader in Your Community Through Sport. So we have heard about the IOC Young Leaders Network. We have heard about our project, as we are 4 on the panel. So to make it more clear, I would like to, we have decided to make a discussion round table. So we'll have a few questions, one question per one, so that we can try to make it more clear. So we wish you to be inspired and join us to use sport to make this world a better place. So we're gonna have three questions about how did we come together, how did our friendship start, and we'll also have we'll explain a little bit how we organize or how we enjoy the IOC Young Leaders Youth Summit, but also some of us will tell us who is supporting us from the scratch, from our home country. What did it push you to apply? And also we'll conclude by saying how can you find this opportunity? Maybe you want to join us, so we needed to tell you how can you join us, or how maybe there are also another sport organizations that you can join so that you can be there to grab that opportunity. So I would like to invite Maria. So please tell us what obstacles did you face during implementing your project in your home country. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Claude. Well, our biggest challenge was because of the pandemic, because we had planned to do all of our workshops in person, but Guatemala was on lockdown for over 8 months, so we had to make that transition to go online. And then also I had traveled to the US, and I ended up staying here longer than I expected. So thankfully, my friend Gabi was in Guatemala, so we were communicating every week and having online phone calls all the time. So that's how we managed to overcome this great obstacle that many of IOC Young Leaders of this year had. And many of us ended up going online, also like Rohit. And thanks to technology, we were able to deliver the project.
Thank you, Maria. So I would like to invite Geewon. So Geewon, how do you define youth change maker? And do you think you have to be a top athlete to be a change maker?
That is actually a very good question to be asked of me, because as you know, I myself do not have a background in sport, and nor have I ever been an athlete myself. Well, to begin with the first question, in order to be a young change maker, a mover and a shaker in sports, I think what is most important is to have a vision. You should have an agenda that you are passionate about. For me, it was inclusion and representation of minorities, but it doesn't have to start with such a heavy agenda for you to approach, that is. And let's say, for example, for everyone joining us today with our seminar, I know a lot of you guys are still in school and are teenagers. Let's say, for example, you want your friends to move more. You want your friends to engage in sporting activities more. You can just right now and propose a project for, let's say, jump roping. If you want to be more physically involved, you can just gather around 3 friends, let's say, and start doing jump ropes, and that alone is change making. It doesn't have to be difficult, and that is a main takeaway I want to share with you guys. And another thing about whether you have to be an athlete to be a leader in sport, and I'd say absolutely not. A leader is someone who takes an initiative to change something. So if you have an idea, and more importantly, if you can act on it, you are a leader. You don't have to be the fastest runner in the world or the highest jumper in the world to achieve that, not at all. And I really want to say that you guys can do it too.
Thank you so much, Geewon. So for sure, before giving the floor to Rohit for the next question, so from our experience, let me tell you that to be the owner, to have the ownership of the project is only easy as a youth, but it's a good challenge as we want to be the young leader or young change maker, as John said. So without support from Yunus Sports Hub, International Olympic Committee, Panasonic, and also having IOC Young Leaders and as a family, we could not have done what we did. So I would like to invite Rohit just to share with us how can we find an opportunity such as such so that we can like practice our leaderships as youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, JC. So I think if I understand it right, how do you get a social bent of mind, or how do you create some impact in your society? Is that what you're saying? Is that your question?
Actually, how other youth, as you know, we have many youth here, so they need to know how can they find an opportunity to practice their leadership skills.
Yeah, I think the first thing and the most important thing is to do the best you can do for yourself. First, make sure you're efficient, make sure you're excellent, make sure you're respecting everybody, make sure you are the best person you can be. And when you're doing the best that you can be it at your extracurriculars, be it at art, sport, be it at just speaking, it would be, you would have plenty of opportunities. You can start somewhere. So where I started was, a lot of people would come to me because I'm an athlete. After 10, 12 years of my sport, after being a multiple Asian medalist, then people would come up to me and say, hey, why don't you help me? Oh, how do I start sport? How do I I'm feeling this, I'm feeling bad about, a kid might come up to me and say, hey, I don't get motivated to wake up. How do I go about it? I start achieving my goals, but then I drop off midway. So the reason I'm able to help is that I have developed myself a skill set as an athlete. So you guys should go out there and develop your own skill set, be with people, take every opportunity that you have and use every support that you can get. Use the support of people, your mentors, your coaches, your family, right? Your teachers. Use them. Use people, learn from people older than you, learn from people younger than you. Use technology, guys. Learn from technology. Build yourself a skill set. Be the best you can. And I think you can go ahead and start making change. Whatever you're interested in, go pursue it. You can easily do something about it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohit.
Over to GC.
Thank you. So we have here our mom manager or mentor, what we can call, but she's she's our very, very helpful mom. So from Yunus Sports Hub, so I would like to invite her so that she can maybe ask some question to us. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been an amazing presentation. I'm so excited that we've gotten to the Q&A, and we have some great questions coming in from the audience, and that's really always exciting to show that people are interested in what you all are talking about and they want to know more and they're curious. So that's really great to see. We can't take all of them, so I'm just going to give, I'm going to ask Maria. People are really curious about the funding. So how are you, can you tell us a little about the funding structure that you all received in order to deliver your projects?
Right. Okay. So for our projects, we applied last year, and as part of the Young Change Makers program, we could apply to funding that came from the IOC in partnership with Panasonic. So basically, we wrote down our plan for the project and a budget, and then we sent it to the application, and then we got the funding through our NOC, National Olympic Committee, to deliver our project.
Great. So that's great. So you did have the funding and you had some resources, obviously, to get your projects off the ground. The next question would be for Geewon. Are there any ways that younger people can, even if they're not participants in your project, but are there ways they could volunteer and be part of the projects that you're running? Just as some way of getting involved in some of these great projects that are happening.
That's a great question. And I love hearing that from the audience, that you guys are excited to hear about my project and want to take part in it. Oh, I'm very touched right at the moment. Well, from this stage, there's a second round of the IOC Young Leaders that are happening right now. They're in the 6-week learning sprint at the moment. And what I know, at least from my country, a lot of the projects will keep the legacy of what I had started in terms of athlete engagement and also representation of minority children. So it will not be completely apart from what I had started. So there should be plenty of opportunities, plenty of more events and projects in regards to that, relating to that. So therefore there will be a lot for you guys to join. And I'm very thankful that there are people out there that are willing to do so. And yeah, you will definitely hear about the progress on not only on the IOC homepage, but also our individual channels. So after the session, make sure to subscribe and follow, and we'll definitely keep you alert.
Thank you for that. And yes, on the last slide, we also have ways that you can follow and be engaged through social media. The last question I'll ask Rohith. What can you just tell us in a couple words, if you can, was it hard to develop such a big project, and what was the one kind of key thing in order to keep you going while you were delivering your project? So this is for Rohith.
Yeah, thank you, Marisa. I'll keep it very short. So the key thing is, I told you I'm an obsessive, compulsive people pleaser. Love to help people.
Oh, I think we might have lost him.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully you can come back, because we're nearing the end, and so we're going to ask everyone to give some takeaways. So we'll move on to the actual next. So we thought these 4 leaders, hopefully Rohit comes back, are full of great tips. They're leaders and they're developing themselves all the time. So I would like to ask Jean-Claude if you could give one tip for the audience in terms of either being a young leader through sport or also developing your own project. Can you share one tip with them?
Thank you so much. My takeaway will be very, very simple. So as a youth at your age, you have some achievement you have done in your life. So you have just to remember all of those things you have done, and that have to make you proud and confident, so that you can feel like you are capable of doing your project. You can be a change leader in your community. So what I want to mean is that sometimes you need to inspire yourself. That's it. So that you can do it. Thanks.
Super. Maria, you want to go next?
Sure. Thanks, Marisa. The thing that I want to tell you is that try to get involved as much as you can. Volunteer, find a place or maybe an organization near where you live that is already looking for volunteers or things you can do, and just get as much experience as you can. Get out there and work on your skill set, and then before you know it, more opportunities will present themselves if you work hard. So that's it.
Wow, super. Great. G, well, you're not last but not least, but please go ahead.
That was a great advice from Maria, and I can reflect myself a lot, especially thinking back how I was when I was younger. And yeah, I want to just build up on that and say, a lot of people are passionate. A lot of people have causes on their minds, but what differentiates leaders is the action you take. Be passionate and make a move. And it doesn't have to be big. You can start with volunteering. I started with volunteering myself. So stay engaged, take your chances, and stay involved and active.
I don't think that's an issue for any of you all to stay active and be involved. I'd have to say, he just wrote, his power cut out, but he managed to get in his last takeaway. And he says, if you have the right motivation, you will find people who will help you, and they will partner and they will help you to achieve. So I think it's also about finding, having this energy and having this motivation, and then you'll attract others who will also support you. So those were Rose's last words. I'm going to hand it over to Jean-Claude if you would like to close the workshop for us.
Thank you so much, Marisa. So I would like first to thank all guys who are here in the room and in the schools, universities. So it was an honor to be part of this workshop and sharing our journeys. So thank you so much. So and hope also to see you next time in our network. So and of course, I think and I believe that also you too, you believe in the power of sport. So let's do this world a better place through sport. So I would like to handle the floor to the president, but hope everyone got an excited moment during this workshop, and also hope you are excited for the opening ceremony of the UTC Open Festival 2020, and good luck for those who are gonna compete in that competitions. Thank you so much, and you're welcome, President, for the closing remarks. Thank you.
A big thank you from our side. First of all, to the Yunus Sports Hub. And I think we should give a virtual clap to all our friends which have spoken today, Geewon, Jean-Claude, Maria, Rohit. I mean, you are really an inspiration to all of us. You are outstanding young leaders. And for me, being, let me say, still young at heart, old by the bone, so to say, it's really an honor for me to be here today with you. I also would like to say a big thank you to Marisa, which has coordinated this from the Yunus Sports Hub, and Marie, Renee, Rodriquez also. And certainly from our side, a big thank you to our CEO, Julia. I know there was many late nights where the team has stayed up and done this. Myself, coming from a combat sport, we have a saying that the only time we look down on someone is if you reach out to help them back on their feet. I think this is the true power of sport. There's many sporting champions around, but real champions you don't see wearing their medals around their neck. It's the one which really engage themselves in the community and help the ones in need and give the time to ensure that others have opportunity and have reasons to smile. We're living in a world, and now more than ever, where we are challenged by the pandemic, where the lockdown has affected our life in so many different ways, health-wise, both physically and mentally. And I think now more than ever, we need to stand in solidarity and unity so we can overcome these challenging times. And this is why I really thank each and everyone which have come here today to be part of this amazing, and I'll say it again, amazing workshop. And I would like to re-invite you all again tomorrow morning. We have two fantastic workshops coming up, the VADA and ITA workshop, which is really, I've been seeing the rehearsal 2 days ago. It's going to be super informative. And then one very close to my heart, the one from the IPC, I'm Possible. And really, for me, seeing the real heroes in sport speaking to us tomorrow morning. And for everybody, let me remind you again, we will see when you logged in, we will keep note of everybody, and anyone which have completed all 3 workshops will get a special certificate from us and the organizations participating. So a big thank you for the ones which had to get up really early in the morning. Please go back to bed and take all these takeaways with you. For the ones, I wish you a nice day ahead, and thank you on the United to Sports team, and have a wonderful day. Sawadee Kap from Bangkok, and thank you.